Hollis is our very special guest today on The Strange Hour. And for those of you who do not know who the heck this guy is, here is an introduction because you need to know. He's married to Terry Hollis, and they have 3 sons, Robert Jr., Matthew, and Kyle. But there is a recent addition to the Little Hollis star who is in the making that just came on board with the Hollis family. Robert now has a grandson who just turned 2 months old. Direct Sales Association has been around for about 15 years. Robert is one of the top 100 DSA members. He's #1 documented millionaire maker on the planet, and he is an entrepreneurial evangelist who is on a mission to inspire people to reach for their dreams. He encourages everyone, including me, who will listen to take ownership of their own economic future. He is one of the 2 founders of Unlimited Profits, Success in Minutes. He has built several successful online businesses, including one that serves a customer base of over 1 million people in 9 countries around the world. Author to one of the top best-selling paperbacks on Amazon called How Is That Working For You? Or How Is That Working? $13.46. Pick one up, everybody. It now gives me the greatest pleasure to introduce you to Robert Hollis. How are you, Robert?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm so glad to be on the Strange Hour, and what an incredible intro. I was like, I can't wait to meet this guy. Very blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's great to have you on the show today. I'm really excited, and I want the world to know all about who Robert Hollis is. So, leading with that, tell us who Robert Hollis is, please.
Well, Robert Hollis is very simple. I say that I'm just an average guy that attempted some above average things. And there's a saying that I consistently say all the time: you don't know what you don't know. And another one that I put in my book that everybody sort of laughs with is, if what you know isn't true, when would you want to know? So I was just this classic guy that grew up, around a bunch of blue-collar workers, and didn't really put a lot of emphasis on school because I was good with my hands. I wanted to be a mechanic, and went to trade school, and that's what I did. So, I worked hard, but I sort of got eluded with this American dream kind of thing because, no matter how hard I worked, I just never could seem to get ahead. As soon as I got just a little bit of money put away, something would happen to the car, or something would happen that would take those savings away. And of course, all of a sudden, when you start having children, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I want to spend time with my family. And, so you got to make these choices. If you're going to spend all this time with your family, then guess what? Then you're not putting in the hours that you should to make money to get ahead. And I sort of lost my passion in life. I was just showing up. I used to work on race cars every weekend, but now I found a job where I was working on cars 6 days a week, and I just gave my hobby away. And all of a sudden, after, I know that a lot of your watchers will be, probably have been in the wrong place at the wrong time in their life. And that's what happened to me. I couldn't get out of a way of a van. I actually, to show you how smart I was, I tried to stop it. And it tipped off a hoist and wiped out my knee. And I had a bunch of doctors tell me I couldn't be an auto mechanic anymore. And so now all of a sudden I'm like in a place where, oh my Lord, what am I going to do? And I mean, I remember praying and shouting out, just, man, please, there's got to be a better way. And I got introduced to a guy named Bill Gould, and this guy was a mentor of mine. He was making $62,000 a month. I seen his checks for people that are skeptical. And, he said that he was looking to train and mentor people. Well, I just bit in. I just did exactly what he told me, went with blind faith, and I started introducing people right off the street. I would find people and ask them who they knew and just drag as many people in front of his videos as I possibly could, as fast as I could. I made over $1 million by the age of 30. I've now made over $43 million in my career. I'm 52 years old. And like you said, I'm a new grandpa. My grandson's writer. And I feel like every day I just try to be above average as far as a mentor, a friend, a husband, a father, a grandfather. And I just love helping people. So, today it's pretty amazing because 3 years ago, what happened is a bunch of people reached out to me. I was reaching out to them to sort of mentor my sons. Even though I've been able to do a great job with my sons, I just wanted to get them in front of other people that were better on the internet. I knew the internet was going to be huge. And so I knew some people that made money with the internet, so I stuck my sons in front of them. And at that event, there was a guy named Eric Worre that was just trying to figure out the internet. And he said, Robert, you got to come speak at my event. That was 3 years ago. And, I sort of got put on this panel, with a group of people, and I told this funny story. And, the rest is history. Now there's people all over the world that came to me. And Heather, is weird because I was always taught just to teach my group and just to teach the people within my company. Never went outside of those realms. And now I got people all over the world because of Eric, not only showing me in front of everybody, but put me on live stream. I spoke last year, and now I'm speaking this year. And he goes out there and does the GoPro event thing, and sells all these home study courses with my DVD in it. And now people are finding me all over the world asking me, hey, listen, can you mentor me? Can you show me what you did? Can you show me how to do this? And I just love helping people. So that's where we are today. That's where the book came from. That's where I've met you, and that's where we are today.
Thank you. That's a great opening. There is one story, because I like to start the Strange Hour off with a funny story. But this particular story that I'm going to ask you to tell has a real poignant message to it. And it's the story that you told at one of the Eric Worre GoPro events. And it talks about, with every level of success that you climb, you can sometimes go through weird feelings about not being worthy to get to the next level. Can you tell us that terrific story, please?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, Heather. It's how the story goes is when Terry and I first moved out to California. It's funny because you probably don't look at me this way, but I had long hair, full beard, leather jacket. I rode a motorcycle every day back and forth to work. If you think about people that are mechanics. And so we didn't have a lot of money, so what we would do is she would jump on the motorcycle and we would drive all the way down from San Fernando Valley. It took about an hour to get to the ocean. And we got to the Pacific Ocean in California, and we'd drive all the way up PCH, all the way from maybe Malibu all the way to La Jolla. And I mean, we just loved doing that. And so there was always this one area where we went through Newport Beach, where we started driving, and you seen these houses that were up on the hill, and it was just incredible. And so we would drive all the way up those roads that most of them were gated at the time, and still are. And I Terry and I would just go every once in a while. We'd find one that was open, and the house was being built. You know what I mean? It wasn't even, done yet. And we'd get off there and sneak in and walk through there and sort of do our own little, I guess you'd say, open house.
Yeah.
And we just dreamed. We just said, wow, wouldn't it be cool one day to live here, not only sit on a hill, but over, the ocean's almost 180-degree view of the ocean. It's just amazing. And long story short, all of a sudden, I just kept working on skills. You know what I mean? I learned to make $10,000 a month, and I thought that I died and went to heaven. And it doesn't take long when you start giving people and giving to charity and doing all these things, that money isn't good enough. And it just took a different skill set and me learning more from mentors to get to 20. And every time that I did that, I would speak in front of larger groups of people. And when I did, I would go through self-esteem issues and anxiety issues and all of these things, limiting beliefs. You know, it's like, wow, I know how to make, you know, 10,000 a month. I don't know if I'm worthy for 20,000. You know, I don't know. And it was always one of those things, Heather, where I'm not materialistic. I know that sounds funny for people that make a lot of money, but I'm not materialistic. But I love using my money to help other people. And so that was always the little issue that I had to do. When I thought about me, it became a problem. When I started thinking about how I could help other people, I would knock down the walls. I would go through the fear. I would do something. It was like, I don't know if it's one of those crazy things where, you know, you probably wouldn't save yourself, but if there was like an animal or a person that needed your help, you would run into danger to help them. It's just a weird thing that I think we have as humans. I just don't believe that we put our backs against the wall enough. You know what I mean? So we just stay in that comfort zone because it's comfortable. If you put yourself in a bad situation, I always hear people that probably don't get this, but if you ever travel to a third world country like I have, and I know, Heather, you have, it's like when you see these people in villages that are not just uninformed, but they don't have a clue that they don't know that they don't know. And so now when you can offer anything to those people and you see how grateful they are and how much they light up, that's why people love helping people in other countries instead of the United States, because we're just too spoiled here. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, let me show you how to have a life so you got free time. And people are like, no, I'm not interested. I go to South America and I say, listen, do you know anyone that needs to make extra money? And they go, yeah, I'll do anything you tell me to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they got that same heart where everything that they're trying to do to raise money is going back to their family. It's not about them. You know what I mean? I've seen people get money and give it all away to their family and relatives. So, you know, so I just kept going through these barriers one after another after another. And all of a sudden, money got to a situation where we even thought that we were like crazy. Why are we even looking down here? And we went down there and we found this incredible guy that just believed that he could get me into anything, and he did. So we lived in an area that's called Pelican Hill. It's in Newport Coast. There's 1,700 homes there, and it's extremely exclusive. In fact, we lived in an area where I could actually, you know, look over Kobe Bryant's home. And it was just, my God, it was just amazing. Well, in that area, they got their housing, you know, what is it called, where the homes all have to pay an association deal. So it was part of the Pelican retreat thing. So they had this grill place. And so I went into there, and we would always go take family there. So when family come there or someone comes to meet me, Heather, if you was there, I'd say, listen, go to lunch. Let's go to lunch here. And I would walk in, and these same people that were just dressed to the nines, man, they would always see me in there. And so it was really hilarious. So I went in there, and this guy one time walked up to me, and he said, hey, what do you do? And I said, you ever heard of those pyramid companies? You know what I mean? And he said, yeah, I've heard of those. And I said, do you ever hear the guy at the top is the one that makes all the money? And he goes, yeah. And I said, I'm that guy. And it was funny because I used to say that to people all the time, Heather, and it was two reactions. One reaction was, yeah, I so what, that's a big deal. And then other people were like, they got it right away. They said, well, I'm that guy too. And I'd go, what do you mean? And I met this guy that owned a telecommunication company. He had 1,100 employees. So he was a CEO and founder of his own telecom company. Was he that guy? Of course he was that guy. And so people that understand entrepreneurship know that it starts with you, and it starts with you helping and teaching others and building a team underneath you. It's not about you being a part of somebody else's pyramid. It's about you getting that entrepreneur spirit that you know that's inside you that says, wow, what if I could build this customer base? And out of that customer base, I could find some people that wanted to supplement their income, and some of those people wanted to replace their income, and some of those people wanted to be real investors and entrepreneurs. And so, you know, you help a lot of people. You find those people.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for telling that story. It's my absolute favorite. And I just fell off my chair when I first saw that video. So appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you.
You're
It was
welcome.
a fun time for me. It still is. I still run into people all the time that I say that, and it just comes from me and a different belief that what I believe that I'm proud of building organizations. I'm proud of being an entrepreneur, and some people still believe that entrepreneur means salesperson. I don't know where
Mhm.
that comes from, but a entrepreneur can be an individual that could help a bunch of people.
Yeah.
They employ thousands and thousands of people, and millions, hundreds of millions of people. And if it wasn't for them being an entrepreneur, those people wouldn't have a job. So
Yeah, well, let's hope as time goes by, that awareness around the difference between those two starts to increase.
yeah.
Now, I know that you live a life of mentorship, so tell me why that is important to you.
The reason why is I don't remember where. I think it was through Tony Robbins one time. I heard him say that there's 6 areas of your life that you need, and is they're very very important, even though you don't know they're there. And of course, there's security and sometimes variety. Sometimes we get bored. Of course, love is an incredible one. But then there's a part of contribution, and a part of community. And one of the things that happens is people always say, well, listen, how much money do you really need? Well, if you get plugged into community and charities, you need more money every day. Yet you constantly need more and more and more money, because now it comes from a place of passion, and it comes from a place of, you know, um, just being fulfilled. A lot of people out there might be making money, but there's no fulfillment. There's no God, like you're making a difference. And whenever you can get involved in charity or community work or doing something that's bigger than you, all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you're so jacked up to get up. You can't and it keeps you up, and it keeps you up at night, but it's not that kind of anxiety, worrying kind of stuff. It's like you're constantly trying to figure out how to help more people, more people. And so, 3 years ago, there came a thing in my life where I was going like, so I could go out there and build another organization, double my income. And it was like, so what? You know what I mean? It was like, I was living where I wanted to, had the vehicles that I wanted to. We traveled, one year we took over 6 vacations all over the world. And, all of a sudden you start going, okay, so now what?
Yeah.
Now what? And that's when I started plugging into people like the Starkey Foundation. Eric Worre was a great big step in this for me. So all of a sudden I meet this guy named Bill Austin, and Bill Austin is giving away $110 million a year fitting children with hearing aids.
Wow.
And you go, uh-oh. All of a sudden you're around a group of people that the money that you make looks like you're making nothing. Nothing. This guy gives away more in a week than I make.
Wow.
So you start hanging around those people, and they start challenging you. They start pushing you. And it's like, everyone that probably watches this video might have something that they love. But watching a child, get fitted with a hearing aid and hearing their mother's voice for the first time, uh, and Bill Austin says it perfect. He says, if you've ever been in a place in life where it was dark, you know what I mean? And you thought you heard something, like maybe dog tags, or you heard someone's voice and someone's footprints, noise, and you looked around and you didn't know what it was. How did you feel? Were you scared? Did you ever, like when you walked and heard noises as a child, did you ever, start running because you thought something was behind you? You had to get home. He goes, people that can hear, children that can hear, feel like that all the time. They
Yeah.
feel like that all the time because they can't hear anything. And I just went, oh my God. So fitting these children with hearing aids, and every place he goes, these parents that don't have any money, stand in line for days. And they come in and they fit these kids with hearing aids and set them up, and it's the first time that they can hear and hear their mother say I love you. They can actually hear their own voice. Oh, so I go, okay, you know what, I need to make more money. I need to help more people. I need to do more to help more people. So now you go back to Think and Grow Rich and all these books that you know, and it is true. The more people you help, the more people you get to help them get what they want. In turn, you get what you want. Now, what that might be is just a sense of being, fulfillment, community, contribution, leaving a legacy. And so there you are. It's a whole different level. And again, guess what? There's the feelings all over again, Heather. It's like, oh my God, who am I to go out and start my own foundation? Who am I to try to ask other people to give to my foundation and what I'm dealing with? And one last statement I'll say about that is you can look examples all over the world. I really truly believe when Bill Gates passes that I wonder if Microsoft will even be mentioned in his eulogy. Because this man is going to be an individual that is going to be responsible for wiping out malaria.
Yes.
So I mean, there's all these 125 billionaires now that watched him over the years, and now they've said that they're going to donate half of their, billions, and wow, he's going to go down, him and Warren Buffett, of making this huge, huge movement of these wealthy people that it's not cool just to store money up. You know what I mean? You need to find a way to get rid of it. And one more thing that I'll say about that, because I watched a big television program about a documentary of this. Here's all these 125 billionaires. You got to be a billionaire to get in the club, and you got to make a commitment to give away half of your wealth. And do you know that they were all in a room, Heather, talking about their mistakes? The number one reason that these people weren't giving more is because they went out of their way to give like a pretty good hunk of money, which to us would be a couple of lifetimes of money. But they'd give like $10 million or $50 million to a charity, and then find out that they totally messed up and the money didn't go where it was supposed to, or somebody embezzled the money. So everybody always asks, why don't these wealthy people give? Well, there's nothing worse than trying to make a difference and then it ends up going backwards. So now all of a sudden, people attaches Heather's name to a ministry, what could be a ministry or a nonprofit organization that you found out that none of the money actually got to the children she was supposed to help. How would you want to? You ruin your reputation now when you're trying to help. So Bill Gates was saying, I don't mind saying where I messed up. He said, my first time that I wanted to take a bunch of vaccines to this giant village. He said this huge village in Africa. And he says, I'm worth all this money. I can do anything. So he says he went to this pharmaceutical company. He paid in advance for all the vaccines. They made all the vaccines. He paid for them to be delivered to an airline, got it all taken care of, got them shipped there, and totally shipped them wrong. And all the vaccines were not effective when they got to the kids.
That's a heartbreaking story.
And he said, just because you got money doesn't mean you know everything. He said, I should have been asking people, hey, listen, there needed to be someone that knew about that vaccine more than I, that said, hey, have you ever transported this much vaccine? And he says, so there's a lot of questions out there that you need to surround yourself with people that's their job. So just because you got money doesn't mean you know what you're doing. And I went, wow, that is deep. That chokes me up. So these guys want to learn too, but who do you learn from when you're a billionaire?
Well, I think, life is just a constant learning process.
It is.
Anyway, Robert. So, why, in your view, which is the next question, why, in your view, does everyone need a mentor? Can you talk about that subject? I mean, I don't remember the last time someone at your level of financial success spent time with me one-on-one to talk to me about how I can create more success. And I was really impressed with that. And you know, I've been over 35 years in business, and you're the first person that's ever approached me and offered up that kind of support. So,
Wow. Well, it's funny because we sort of covered it in the first part of our interview. When there's something that's bigger than me, where I want to inspire, train, and mentor over 1 million people worldwide, I can't do that by myself. I can't do that by myself. So that means that I got to reach out and try to find like-minded people that I can feed into, that I can give to, that I can mentor, because the number one question that skeptical people have about what I'm trying to create in Success in Minutes is, Robert, listen, you can't mentor everyone. You know, so you get to that 1,000 people, you get to that 10,000 people, you get to that 100,000 people. How are you going to be personally mentors with everyone? I won't have to, because my goal is to take people that are watching this video that are interested in people like Heather, and I'll be able to say to people, listen, all Heather can show you how to do is make $1 million a year. That's all she can show you how to do. And all she could do is show you how to take that money and be fulfilled by helping people in other countries. See, my goal is to mentor people like my mentor did with me. You know, here's an auto mechanic from Williston, North Dakota, didn't have anything to offer, but he fed into me and he believed in me and said, let me teach you the stuff that I know. It works. If you do it, you'll get results. And it did. And so, I wouldn't have the results that I have today if I wouldn't take the time to feed into 45 people that now have given me credit to make over $1 million a year.
yeah.
So, it's funny because I just seen a recent article where Richard Branson, this guy's the guy that owns the whole brand of Virgin, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Records at one time. Right now, his biggest thing, other than making sure that people pay for a ticket to get into space, to Virgin Galactica, that's thinking outside of the box, isn't it? But his other thing, if you really check all his stuff on Google Plus and also Facebook, it's this constant thing where he's saying that people that are successful and figured it out need to become mentors. So I think it's a you brought the word up already. It's just a awareness, a different level of awareness that's coming up where people start saying, instead of just building bigger and bigger and bigger companies, what if you could build a company with a bunch of people working together and you can really, really help them? And I know a lot of people when they hear that, well, that's all, kumbaya, peace the world thing. But guess what? You hear these people like Tom Shoes that are doing this entrepreneurial, they're out there doing a whole different model of entrepreneurship where they're saying to people, hey, listen, you buy a pair of shoes from me, I'll make sure a kid gets a pair of shoes that can't afford it.
Love it.
You see what I mean? You look at the model of Google and Facebook, and can you imagine sitting down with people that are traditional thinkers that will be watching this video? And imagine that presentation. Hey, Heather, listen, I wonder if you know some investors that would invest in our company. We came up with a concept where everyone in the whole entire world will be able to search on our platform to find all the knowledge that they need about anything. Oh, well, what are you going to charge those people? No, we want to give that away for free.
A novel concept.
Yeah, and people are going like, well, listen,
are you crazy?
So if Facebook and Google and YouTube, the same thing I think about YouTube, imagine talking about that model. Well, what are you doing? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to allow people to upload their videos for free so they can share them with their family in the world. Oh, really? What's that service going to cost? I don't think we should charge for that. That company in 18 months, Heather, got bought for $1.6 billion. Those two guys each made $800 million each.
Fabulous story.
And one other quick story on that.
Okay, love stories.
One of the original people of YouTube, you can read this on Wikipedia, one of the original kids that was the almost the #1 programmer of the three was told by his father that if he didn't stop that stupid thing and focus on his studies because his grades were low, he was going to cut him off. And so the kid went to the other two buddies and said, I don't want to be cut off from my father, and I don't want to make him mad, so I need to focus on my college studies and get my grades up. And you guys can just have the company. So his father forcing him,
Yes.
saying he's going to cut him off, and told him he was unhappy with what he was doing to help everybody in humanity, forced him to focus on his studies with college to get his computer science degree. And, you know, what's 16 divided by 3? You know, cost his son maybe $650 million.
Yeah.
So now, you know, who knows? I don't know the whole story. Maybe the other two guys that were his friends went back and took care of him. I don't know, but they probably did. They probably hired him.
Well, I hope they've done a little more than that for him.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's a great story too. I love that.
Yeah.
I know that everybody is using social media platform, or many people are today.
Right.
But the way you use and educate people on social media platform takes it to a whole new level from what I've seen. Can you explain to our audience today why you feel social media platform education is so important, and how do you use it that makes you so successful and separates you from many of the other businesses out there?
Well, again, it all comes from my philosophy, which is very simple: is people don't care what you know unless they know that you care. And so there's people just don't understand the philosophy of this new model where, you know, people will get to know, like, and trust you if you just take a very, very sincere, not fake, sincere interest in who they are. You know, so Heather, when I first got to meet you, I wanted to know all about you. I wanted to know who you were, what you love to do, what you've done in the past, what you're looking to do, and I didn't do that for any other reason that I really, really wanted to get to know you. Mm. And so I believe there's so much fake stuff going on in the world that people can feel it right away. And so I still see these people that are playing with social media, and what they're doing is they're not taking a human, wow, I got chills when I said that. They're not taking a human interest in humans. They're just thinking, what can I get out of Heather? You know, can I send Heather a link? Can I get her signed up in something? Can I get her to buy my product? Can I get her to give me some referrals of people that I could get to buy my product? They're so into the taking mindset that they don't understand that the more you give, the more you get. They think that's a cliche. They think that's, you know, crazy. And so over the years of me building social media, and I tell people, you can go back and look over dates and dates and dates of all my Facebook pages, my YouTube channels, my Google. I'm just giving. I'm giving. And when people make comments or likes on that, I take the time. If they share my post, I thank them for sharing my post. Since I started on social media with MySpace, there's a place in every social media where if people put in their birth dates, there's a place that you can go to find out whose birthdays. Do you know, still to this day, every day when I get up after my prayer time, after my meditation time, after my little bit of personal development time, I immediately go on my social medias and I wish everybody a happy birthday. Mm. And it's not happy birthday. It's a little longer than that, you know? And I want to be unique, and I still to this day have had people that 2 years later, they'll say, wow, Robert, you never fail. You know what I mean? And I had one lady that really, really struck me because she was having a particularly a bad year. And she said I was the only one that wished her happy birthday that year.
That's touching.
Now, I didn't come right after that and said, okay, So take a look at this link. It wasn't a setup in any way, shape, or form. I said, listen, I'm here for you. Is there anything that I can do to help you? And she said, wow, you're just so nice. And I'm going like, I think that's the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated. So yeah, so social media to me is extremely powerful because it allows me to feed in and help and say nice things and like and comment and do nice things on people that I'd never meet in a million years.
Yeah.
How else could I meet them? You know what I mean? So now I'm doing interviews like I'm doing with you with people in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Germany, Norway, South Africa. I got friends all over the world, by reaching out and helping them. So that's the difference. The difference is not trying to see what you can get out of somebody. It's what you can give to somebody.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you use the word real. In a real relationship, you're not developing that with a hidden agenda.
Yes. And people can tell when you're real because they're so used to this clock going off in their head where the first time that you and I met and the chat starts going, you don't even want to invest on a personal level into the communication because you know it's coming. The clock starts clicking. Okay, wow, they said something nice. They made a really nice post. They asked me a couple questions. All right, I'll give them a little bit of information to see where this goes. And then here comes the pitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man, isn't anybody real anymore?
Well, they're there. And all of us are learning from you, too.
Yeah, so isn't it funny? I keep using that word, it's funny, but isn't it refreshing to know that there are other people like us? I tell people all the time that, you seek and you shall find. And when you run into a bunch of what I call crazy people that love life, love to give more than they take, and are always looking how to feed into people, my goal with them, Heather, is to teach them how to make that monetary, because it can happen. We live in the information age. Why aren't people building relationships with people first, getting them to know, like, and trust you, and they'll ask you. You get good at building relationships and people will ask you. It's a thing within human beings called reciprocity. You know that you've given a lot when people say, my God, Heather, you just are so wonderful. What can I do for you today? That's when you know you got it. It's like, most of the people that I have that work with me today, I never asked them. I never even told them what I was doing. They wanted to be around me and a part of what I was doing. Now, when they make that decision, isn't that a better one?
Totally.
So people are always worried as I'm building success in minutes. It's Eric Worre deals with the same thing. There's the skeptical people, the takers, the haters that are constantly going, Heather, watch out. He's just setting you up. You know what I mean? One day he's going to build this 1 million people and 2 million people, and then he's going to start his own network marketing company. Just watch. And it's like, golly. But, people that say that, though, are usually the kind of people that would do that. That's why they're scared that you're going to do it.
But that's powerful information, and I'm glad you touched on that today because I think that's really, really important.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Well, I love this interview. You're asking totally different questions, and that's why I love doing them.
Good. Thank you, Robert. So moving along in a completely different direction, there's a buzzword out there which may not be such a buzzword for you, but for many it is, and it's called residual income.
Right.
Would you explain what residual income is and why it is so important? And in addition to that, please talk about multiple income streams based on those residual incomes.
Sure. The one thing that I've been saying to people all the time is, again, if you've never heard these phrases before, first of all, don't feel like, oh my God, I guess I'm, an idiot. I guess I don't, no, you don't know what you don't know. So in the world that I grew up, traditional businesses, trading time for a paycheck, that's all I knew. Why would I know anything else? But as soon as you get around a certain group of people like songwriters, you get around people that live off residual income because they understand residual income. It's funny because that's all they talk about. And residual income is doing something one time and constantly getting repaid for that over and over and over and over and over again. Believe it or not, the first time I ever heard of it was insurance sales. That these insurance people would go out there and they would do a life policy. So the person that got my life insurance policy is a guy named Carl Davidson. I think I probably see him maybe once every 5 years. But I see the money coming out of my account every month for my life insurance policy and my wife's life insurance policy. He's getting paid on that, and I'm not the only client. So that when you understand residual, that you could do something one time and continue to get paid like interest on a bunch of money in the bank when they used to give away interest. You know what I mean? Now people go, oh my God, I got $10,000 in the bank and I made $100 last year. It's ridiculous. But residual income is just that. So once you know it, you're aware of it. I always love using Jennifer Aniston. You can look this up. She makes $13 million a year off the residual income from Friends. And even if you don't like the Friends or stuff when it was going, they did something that was very revolutionary that a lot of people still to this day will not do. Is if that show became so popular so fast that all 5 of them decided to hold out on their contract and all stayed together as a team to go back and get $1 million per episode and residual once it's syndicated. And they pulled it off. So now you got all the other ones, including, it's fun to live life and go pursue your career, your passion, your love, while you're making $13 million a year. That works out pretty well. So I know a lot of your watchers will probably be going, wow, so first of all, the residual concept. Well, then I knew that I needed to start finding things that I could market, products and services that I could market, that once I got someone to love the product, that they would continue to reorder the product and me getting a small percentage of that. So now when you start understanding that kind of principle, I tell people all the time, they go, well, I don't understand what you do. And I said, well, in one company, I have over 700,000 affiliates. 700,000. What if every one of them once a year did something that paid me $1 a year? That's $700,000 a year. So when people get that, they go, oh, I got it. Well, does your electricity company get paid residual? Does your car insurance company get paid residual? Think of the stuff that you pay every, would cable companies be considered residual? So why do the companies that always got residual, like getting gas for your car, why are all those companies multi-billion-dollar companies? That's the power of residual. So you got to learn how to build that residual. Make sure the model that you're getting involved in has that. The other one is, of course, leverage. The leverage aspect of it is if you could teach other people how to do and get residual, then you get a percentage off their efforts. Well, the thing that I learned by accident, I mean this, accident, was I believe my mentor, instead of trying to learn from my mentor and pass that information down to my team, I tell people, think about this silly statement. Can you teach somebody to be better than you? And that's why a lot of people in direct sales and network marketing suffer. They think their job is to go learn stuff, even though they haven't made any money, and then teach it to others. That's stupid. What I did is I was learning from a guy, and he got me excited to go find other people that wanted a better lifestyle. and put them in front of him. And so while he was teaching me to make 10 grand a month, I was putting people in front of him that he was teaching to make 10 grand a month. So now if you got 5, 10, 20 people underneath you that are making $50,000 a month, what do you think your income is if you get a percentage off that?
Significant.
Crazy. So now when you talk about multiple sources, well, guess what? Robert Kiyosaki does it best. I get a chance to speak with him on stage in November. And Robert Kiyosaki says it best. Once you get your residual income in, he's got a game that he teaches kids called Cash Flow 101, because everyone's talking about everything else, but no one understands cash flow. And when you can develop residual and cash flow, the next step is to save that money, to invest that money, that now you got money making you money. And when you get to that principle, it's amazing, because what poor people do is they get money and they spend it. Wealthy people get money and build a business that develops cash flow. From that cash flow, they get and buy investments where they make money from their money. Then they go buy all the stuff. See, they just buy a bigger screen, Heather, a couple years later instead of right away. But when I get to buy stuff now, I'm buying stuff that my money made me money to buy that stuff.
Wow, how lucky are those kids to get that kind of learning so young, getting out of the gate?
Yeah, my sons, I've homeschooled my children, and my children, they have tens of thousands of dollars in their account. They're 22 and 21 years old.
Wonderful.
Yeah, everybody always says that money doesn't buy happiness, and I agree. But I know another one too, because I've been there, is poverty. And being poor doesn't buy happiness. So I just say, just pick the other. Figure out the other.
I love, that's one of my favorite expressions. That's up on my wall, by the way. And I don't mean my Facebook wall. and so tell us now about Success in Minutes and Unlimited Profits, and how you combine the social media and the mentorship pieces.
Okay. Well, like I said, it all started from supply and demand. When all of a sudden I seem to have these little things that I did that didn't seem to be taught anywhere else. And yes, I know I learned a lot of stuff from my mentor, but there was some things that I really tweaked that really helped me become successful over the last 27 years. And so all of a sudden, when everybody started hitting me and I couldn't get to mentor that many people, that's when 3 years ago I started videotaping and audio taping everything I was doing. And so now we have over 200 hours of video and audio training that's available online right now. And there's a big price for that. 200 hours of mentorship and training. I can't imagine what I think I should charge for it. So what I decided to do is give it away free. So if you've watched this video to this point, get a hold of Heather someplace around there. You can get a hold of her around this video, and just go in there and see the information that we have for free. That was where Unlimited Profits started from. Now, Unlimited Profits then turned into a concept where Success in Minutes was like all the customizable social things that you could do. Now, here's an idea that my mentor gave me that I took a little further with social media. He taught me that if I could teach other people to get excited, ask them the $1 million question, who do you know that would like to make extra money? And when they said, what is this? If they wanted to see, then we would plug in videotapes. So it was called VHS tapes. I'm old enough where where you went into the store and there was they asked you if it was VHS or beta. So for the young people that watch this video, hey, just stay with us. We'll get to you. And so we would plug this videotape in, Heather, and they would watch it. It would be like 45 minutes, and then you very simply would say, "Would you like most about what you just seen?" And when they said, "Wow, I like the concept of this residual income, this kind of lifestyle," and then I go, "Watch, let me show you how fast you can make it." And we would put this tape in called, Steps to Success. And that Steps to Success would show people exactly what they needed to do to get started in the business that we were involved in. And so I tell people this, if you catch this, So if I had 10 people that each had 10 videotapes, and that was our goal on a daily basis, is just to place the 10 videos. Now I got 100 presentations going on a day. So when people go, how do you put 400,000 people into a company in 4 years? You got to find things that people go, I can do this. This is simple. I can share this video, and you got to make it so it's very, very easy and duplicatable. So Success in Minutes, I basically was hearing on all the internet that you got to have a blog. You got to have you got to put content on it all day, every day. And if you do that, then you're going to get a group of people that you're giving value to that will become a part of your network. They'll know, like, and trust you. And as you get to give them more content, then that's the way it works. So I thought, wow, I don't even do that. I don't know how to build a blog. I don't know how to post content. I don't know how to do that. So I thought, well, if I don't know, then other people don't know. So Bill Evert being the other part of the equation that I just love, this guy is like a genius. I mean, he's flat out a genius. I had him build a customizable blog that people could promote, and I'll always put content on it every day. Every day, all day, we put content on this blog. But when you share the blog, like I shared the video, if people like what they see is the value in the videos, the stuff that we create, when they put their email and name in, it goes into your contact manager. So now you get to develop this know, like, and trust with your own list that you create that we help you. Well, what if you're shy? What if you're got lack of self-esteem, self-confidence, belief in yourself? It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get those people to know, like, and trust us. And if they decide to upgrade, you get compensated. Mm-hmm. So I want to build a large group of people. So there's a lot of companies out there right now that are going, how do you get so many people to come to your site? What are you using for traffic, to drive traffic? And I said, I help people make money off driving traffic to their own site. And they go, I don't get it. Why would you do that? Giving before you get.
Yes. How great is
so I just love saying that. I get chills every time I say
it. I love it. It's just fabulous. Okay, thank you for that explanation. I wanted everybody to know about that. And so my next question is, how would people who are just starting out building a business, because I've spoken to a few, or those people who have an established business, are doing very, very well and are successful, but are looking to take it to the next level, how would they benefit from your mentorship program? And how would you layer that into an existing business?
Okay. Well, the first thing that I say to people, and saying these interviews to all these people that I've had, I've gotten really good at trying to use analogies to make people get it right away. And here's what I said to a lady the other day, and it just snapped, so I'm going to repeat it. I said to her, I said, let's just say for whatever reason that you're not totally fulfilled and satisfied. You look at your whole life, you're not making the money, you don't see the duplication that you want, it's just not working. If you are going to be a nurse, say you made a decision that I'm going to be a nurse, I want to give back to community, I love helping people, and I want to be a nurse. Once you make the decision to be a nurse, what's the next step? I got to go to nursing school. It's like everybody knows that. A doctor, a lawyer, an auto mechanic. We all know that if we're not fulfilled and things are not going the way that we want to, we need to make a decision and then we need to go to school. But being an entrepreneur or being in a home-based business, we don't. We just struggle. we just go, wow. So if you're learning from someone above you that has never showed you how to either get to $10,000 or $20,000 a month, or does not have the skills to be able to show the people that you're bringing into the system to make that kind of money, then there's a change that is needed. Mm-hmm. So I tell people all the time, it's like, it's weird that we, actually did that whole traditional crazy stuff inside home-based business, Heather. Think about this. When I first got my first job, I answered to a service writer. That service writer answered to a service manager. The service manager answered to the general manager that answered to the owner. If I ever went to the owner, I lost my job.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing?
Well,
So
it's an old story, I think, Robert, isn't it?
Yeah, so then we move into home-based business, and you're almost crucified and kicked out if you don't listen to the people that are above you. If you try to cut them out to get to somebody that could help you, you're like ostracized. Mm-hmm. If you really want to get them mad so they'll never talk to you again, go sideline. And if you want the whole company to go against you, go outside of your company. That's bizarre to me.
Yes.
Because let's talk about one book. Robert Kiyosaki's book. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Think and Grow Rich. When I got that book and read that book, and it changed the way I thought. And if you change the way you think, you change who you are. Do you think that every person, once I got that book, I went, listen, Heather, you want to change things, you need to read this book. I tell people, you need to read this book because it's very, very important. Well, no one has a problem with promoting outside training of someone that's dead. Think about that. See, Napoleon Hill is not going to distract you because he's not longer here. But if you try to promote the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, then there's network marketers out there that going, listen, I don't want my people confused, and I don't want my people focus on something else, and he just does real estate. So, oh my God.
Yeah, narrow-minded.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a different philosophy that I want people to hear. Is if you personally want to do better in your life, like me, I tell people there's a guy out there that wrote a book called Code to Joy. My son's fiance gave me that book. She seen me struggling in a part of my life, and I had kidney stones. And she said, Robert, do you ever think that maybe you're holding on to something? Do you believe in that? And I went, oh, yes, I do. See, sometimes we're too close to our problems. If someone else said something to me, Heather, you come to me now that we're friends, and you said, Robert, I'm dealing with this. And I said, well, listen, who have you talked to about it? Well, nobody. So, so I look at this book and I find out that this Dr. Pratt that is giving credit from coaching Tony Robbins to Rob Dyrdek to Larry King to Oprah is right down in La Jolla, and I'm in Newport Coast. I call him up, set up an appointment, went and spent 3.5 hours with him, and he just whap, 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 whap. It was so funny how fast he got me out of my limiting beliefs. I mean fast. So now here's what a lot of people would do. Is now that I learned from this guy that's taught other people how to get rid of my limiting beliefs to be a better person in every way, I need to take all his training and come back and teach my people. And not let them know where I got it. Because then that makes me look like I'm a better person.
Not.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes,
so
it is.
I immediately called all my leaders and said, check this guy out. Rob Dyrdek went to him. Tony Robbins went to him. This guy is a performance psychologist, psychiatrist. This guy can get you thinking correctly. You got to go. If you can't afford to go, you need to get the book. Yeah. I'm not interested in teaching what George Pratt has been mastering for 44 years. I'm going to let him do that. Yeah. So now I get all my leaders over there. They learn from him, and then they all go over $1 million a year. What a concept. And people go, Robert, how do you make so much money? It's not that I make so much money. The lifestyle I have, Heather, my leaders never, ever call me because I make them self-sufficient. I teach them where I get the info from.
Duplication is really, really important, isn't it, Robert?
It's the key. It's the
Yeah.
key. I
Yes.
still see these people that might be watching this video that, they still haven't ever got to the place where they can slow down. It's very simple. You're being the deal, so you're never going to stop doing the stuff. You're going to have to always do the presentations, always do the trainings, always do the home meetings, always do everything, because no one in your group, you never took the time to teach them how.
Yes.
Or get them in front of somebody that can teach them how. So that's a great, great question. I know that there's companies out there right now. There's a vote going around where, well, Eric Worre, I'll tell you really quick. Eric Worre in the last 5 years has made such a significant shift in the thought of networking that, he's going to have over 200 people at an event with over 8,000 people there live. And the 200 people make over $1 million a year from 100 different companies and 100+ countries. So this year, he's doing a 6-figure summit before the GoPro event. And you got to document that you make 6 figures or 7 figures a year to get into that summit. And so there's a group of people that are going to be watching this that they're going to go, well, no way do I want all my people around those 7-figure a year people. I want all my people around them.
Yes.
Because they're different personalities. They're different people that found unique ways to get to that 7 figures a year. And if I put my group in front of them, Heather, then they're going to go, oh, I didn't get it before, but when Heather talked, the way Heather talked, the way she did it, that popped me. I got it. Now I know I can do that. What is that worth?
It's priceless, Robert.
Priceless. Priceless. To put your people in front of somebody else that can get them to believe that they can be great. Wow.
That's what I call excitapating.
I've never heard of that.
It's very excitapating. I have a girlfriend who's an Oxford grad with 2 degrees, and she makes up words like this so I can use them.
Say the word again.
Excitapating.
Excitapating.
Yeah.
I like that.
So did I.
Yeah.
But thank you for such a brilliant interview today.
You brought it out of me, Heather. I think we said on our chat one time where, there's no doubt that we're going to help a lot of people together and we make a good team. So you asked some very, very thought-provoking questions, and I hope that your viewers really enjoy it.
Thank you, Robert. You're one of the most amazing men that I've met in over my 30 years in business, as I've mentioned previously. And
Wow.
so, aside from the wonderful things I've learned from you on a business level, I think the one thing that impresses me most about you, and which is the most important thing to me about you, is your loving and giving heart. Because I think business today needs to lead more with that.
Yes.
And because of that part of you, and because of this new pioneering way as a leader in business today, I think all of that just makes you such a blessing to Mother Earth and this planet, and certainly to me.
Wow. Well, my day's done.
Yeah. So, do you have any final words for the audience before we wrap up the Strange Hour today?
I do. I just want all of the people that ever watch this video, even live today or any time in the future, to just know that Heather and I are here to help you. We 100% are here to help you to get all your answers to the questions that you have. And, just know that, I know for a fact that you can do this. All the successful people I've ever met in my life, if you get to spend any time with them, you just got to always remember at one time we were struggling. At one time we wasn't an expert. At one time we couldn't get an audience with one person. That it's like the reason that we've changed is A, we didn't quit, and B, we found people that could teach us the skills that we needed. And believe it or not, a lot of it's like mindset. It's total mindset of believing that there's something out there that when you hear it, it's going to pop with you to go, wow, now I get it. Now I know that I can do this. So regardless of what's happened in your past, you know, just disregard that. I tell people all the time that, you know, I had two women in my high school years that thought that having a relationship with me wasn't a great idea. And they both broke my heart. But, you know, thank God I continue to look. You see, so I tell people all the time that they always hear, well, I've tried this before, and I've tried that before, and I don't like the internet, and you know, and I'm not good with computers. You know, our first goal will get you to stop saying can't, and get you to start being excited about learning something new that you can enjoy, and it's all wrapped around helping other people get what they want out of life. And it works every time. So find a way to get back to Heather. There's probably a link somewhere around this site or through her YouTube channel, and connect with her. Check out our free school. And if you want to take some more steps up, then, you know, Heather will make sure that you and I get introduced, and I'm here to help you in any way. So God bless and wish you luck no matter which way you go.
Thank you, Robert, so much. Such a pleasure. Well, that brings our Strange Hour to a close. I want to thank everybody for your time today. It's been absolutely ab-fab, short for absolutely fabulous. If you wish to reach me, I'm on all the social media sites, LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook. You'll find me under Heather W. Strange. W is my grandma's name. And I'm an open networker, so please feel perfectly comfortable to reach out. I'd love to chat to you. I love talking to people. God bless you all out there. We'll see you next time. And as I always say, by the way, the Strange Hour is not so strange. Thank you.